When the Western Conference Finals ended, myself and many others were running around saying that Victor Wembanyama might be the best player in the league based on the way that he played then. I mean, we were watching the things that he was doing, the way that he was doing it at that big size, playing against the defending champs. Man, can this guy be not only the face of the league, but the best player in the league? And I was like watching the game and going, man, if he keeps playing like this, he'd be the best ever. And it is amazing to watch how Victor Wembanyama on May 30th, when the Western Conference Finals ended, went from being potentially the new face of the league, and within 2 weeks of the end of the NBA Finals, is being considered maybe its biggest villain. How do you go through that type of arc and transition? And the NBA is a narrative-based space. Like the narratives that you get in the NBA stick with you forever. How did that narrative develop and how did that change? Well, I think one of the first things we should look at is how we got to the idea that he might be the face of the league. And the way that happened is the way that he performed against the defending champion Thunder. And the fact that the Thunder might be the most hated team in the history of the NBA. And I know that may sound hyperbolic, it may sound like a crazy thing to say, but like oftentimes when teams are hated, it's because they're really good. Like the Heatles were hated because it's like, oh, they're a super team. LeBron took his talents to South Beach. Like, how could he do that? Right? The Warriors team with KD, man, they were hated because like, how do you add Kevin Durant? How do you add the MVP to a 73-9 team? And of course, you've had some other teams that have been hated throughout history. But the reason why the Thunder are hated is because we hate watching the way they play basketball. The term unethical hoops has been thrown around a lot. Like the way that they play is horrible to watch. They're full of foul baiters and dirty players. We watch Lou Dort literally regularly try to injure players. And then you have the back-to-back MVP, the recent finals MVP, who is supposed to be the face of the league, the best player in the league, and we watch him consistently foul bait. There are compilations of SGA just on the floor. Like we've watched him try, like he will do a move, and what would make the most logical sense for a basketball player to make an actual basketball move that would put him in a good position to get a clean shot off, he'll do the opposite just to draw the foul. Watching that man do that is not only frustrating, it feels like it is a disgrace to the game of basketball. And many of us have been frustrated with having to deal with the fact that they were defending champs. And the fact that they almost lost, but it just so happened that Tyrese Halliburton tore his Achilles. Otherwise, we don't know how that thing would have played out. And so we feel like there's an asterisk to that championship. They play unethical hoops. For some reason, SGA gets the MVP again. And now here comes Victor Wembanyama, the 7'6" phenom who's going to rescue us from these unethical hoops. And then Victor had the nerve, the gall, and the audacity to build this narrative, to build the hype and the momentum by going out and doing this.
Pull up. Way off. Spurs got numbers hungry now behind the plate. 5-on-4. Wemby's going to pull a deep three.
Oh my goodness. A logo shot.
28.
That shot to tie the game in overtime, pulling from Steph Curry range, being a 1.5 feet taller than Steph Curry, pulling from Steph Curry range was phenomenal. And I remember watching that and going, oh my goodness, this guy could be the next great one. Because you have to understand, I think that every generation gets several great players, but then you get that one, right? Michael Jordan was that one. And he was considered the GOAT, and he's still considered the GOAT by many people. For me, LeBron James is the best player of all time. Like the longevity, the accolades, watching, my eyeballs are the source. Like I believe LeBron James literally does everything in the game of basketball better than Michael Jordan, playing against better basketball players than Michael Jordan played against. No disrespect to Jordan, he's the greatest of his era. I think LeBron is the best of his era. And I was watching this going, man, the same way that said that, LeBron is bigger, faster, stronger, plays with more ease than Michael. Man, Wemby is bigger. Like, there's no reason he's to be able to do this at this size. Maybe, just maybe, he's going to be able to take that mantle and take that crown if he plays like this forever. And the Western Conference Finals ended on May 30th. And that was the narrative. And then we got into the NBA Finals because here it was. They dethroned the defending champs. They rescued us from unethical hoops with the Thunder. And then they had to go against a team that we like. They had to go against the Knicks. They had to go against a team with a narrative and a story. Man, Mike Brown is coaching the team. Man, this team went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year and couldn't pull through, and they got rid of Tibbs. Man, like, oh my gosh, they haven't won a championship in over 50 years. And suddenly, in these moments, we start to see what we should have seen before is the Thunder might be unethical hoops, but Wemby also might be a dirty player. Now, I'm a Minnesotan. I'm a Timberwolves fan. So for me, the idea of him doing some stuff that is violent or unethical is not new. Like during the Spurs-Wolves series, we saw this happen.
Bryant off on the three. Wembanyama engulfs the rebound.
Oh, that's an elbow. That's an elbow by Victor.
And we got a tie up with Daniels. Naz Reid was the guy who took the elbow. Everybody stays on their respective benches. Officials in quickly to separate. There you go. There's the bat. The box out. There's that. There's that. That's a problem for the Spurs.
And he should have been suspended for that. He should have been suspended for that. I remember seeing a video of Ant being like, bro, it is impossible to play against this guy. This guy is incredible. But also, I was hoping he gets suspended for that because he looked dead at Naz Reid and threw that elbow. And now, because it's a bigger stage, because folks, I don't think we're watching the Spurs-Wolves series like that, even though I think that Anthony Edwards is one of the 3 best players in the league right now. Should have been watching it. You got Wemby, who's one of the best. You got Ant, who's one of the best. Should have been watching it, but maybe we weren't. Maybe we didn't see these things. But now, on the biggest stage, in the biggest city in the world, the greatest city in the world, playing the New York Knicks in the mecca of basketball. And suddenly, we start to see these different antics from Wemby. Antics that they don't need to exist. Which, if we're being clear, my frustration with SGA is SGA doesn't need to foul bait. He doesn't have to. He's a good enough player. He could just go do what he needs to do. But he has resorted to those antics. And the antics he's resorted to, he may think that those things give him an advantage. What they really do is take away from us as the watchers because we understand what you're doing is ridiculous. Same way, this isn't Europe. This ain't the Euro leagues. This ain't France. You actually don't need to do these things. You could just dominate Wemby. But what we saw Cat give it to Wemby. And I know you, hey, yo, listen, it's Pride Month. Bump y'all. We watched Cat take it to Wemby. We watched Cat make Wemby uncomfortable when Wemby was supposed to be on the offensive side of the ball. And all that. After all that, and then we started seeing these moments between Wemby, who's the biggest player on the court, and Brunson, who's the smallest player on the court. And it starts to make you think, should the face of the league be a bully? Be someone who's going to pick on the small guy? Because we saw this.
Another hot start for the Spurs. A lot of post wrestling going on down there. His heart comes up. Brunson's got to be.
He muffed the mess out the back of that man's head. And for no reason. And once again, that should have been a flagrant foul. But he's the star. Now, we ended up seeing who the real star was when Jalen Brunson went out there and gave him a 40 ball to win the finals. We also saw Wemby try to injure Brunson.
Right there, I think there should have been an investigation. Get him the basketball in front of the rim with that lineup. Patient, he gets it, finishes Jalen Brunson down. Brunson hurt.
He made sure that Brunson couldn't land. So the narrative arc is actually not that Wemby isn't skilled, that Wemby isn't talented, that Wemby doesn't have the incredible height and arm length and all these different things. Wemby has all those other things. But Wemby resorts to these types of antics that are not becoming of not only the face of the league, but somebody who is as talented and as physically gifted as him. If he becomes a villain in this league, it is Wemby's fault because Wemby is succumbing to things that he doesn't need to. He is better. He has the potential to be better than this. He has all the tools to be better than this. But if he succumbs to this idea of using these bully tactics and using these unethical elements, then he's just going to be a guy who was a physical phenomenon, but we all remember him not as the great, but as the one who got that one year, and potentially, if these antics continue, never truly makes it back, because these types of antics don't pay off. Like you start to look more like Draymond than you do LeBron when you start doing things like this. So it's crazy how 2 weeks can change everything, because right now I'm like, that's not the face of the league. That's a Frenchman who needs to get his act together. And maybe if he does, like I said, and he plays the way he played in those Western Conference Finals, and maybe I was blinded in the Western Conference Finals because I don't like the Thunder. Maybe he was acting this way then. If he doesn't get his act together, he's going to be more known for these antics than the skill that he very clearly has. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.